Welcome to step number 3 of the Latch Hook Crochet hairstyle. I will be showing you in detail, step by step, how to latch hook your hair extensions onto your cornrow braids. First, I will show you how to do so with a hair beater. Then I will also show you how to do the same thing with a crochet needle. Before we begin adding extension hair onto our cornrow braids, I first must show you how to prepare your hair. So now that your braid pattern is finished, you're going to be prepping your actual hair extensions. It's best to make sure that you divide your spirals up or your curls up into parts before you crochet them on. Simply because if you crochet them on as whole as they are, your hair will look too thick, unrealistic, and there's the chance that you could possibly run out of extensions. So to make sure that the hair looks extremely realistic and that it appears more natural, what we will do is break this hair up into parts. Also, the hair is extremely long, so I would like a shorter length, a little bit above my shoulders. So what I will do is cut this length in half. If you would like to leave these extensions long as is, they will actually reach all the way down your back. But if you would like them shorter, a little bit above shoulder or at your shoulder, then I suggest that you cut the extensions in half. So you're gonna need scissors to cut them in half, and I have 2 bill clips to hold the cut hair securely around each other. The reason why I have 2 is because I'm going to be demonstrating on 2 different shades of color. This color here is in the number 33, and this color here is in the number 6. When doing this style, you have so much versatility to play with color because none of your hair will be out and exposed. So you can put on any color extensions that you would like for your look. And I would like to use subtle brown colors. So first, I will start with my color number 6, and I'm gonna make sure that all the ends match up to one another. And then I'm going to cut the hair in half as even as possible. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim directly in half. So now for each spiral, what I want to do is break it up either into 2 or 3 parts. And I want to eliminate the frizz as much as I can. So here you can see that the hair has a little bit of frizz on it, and that's fine because a little bit of frizz makes the hairstyle look that more real. So what I like to do is kind of break the spirals apart to see where the natural breaks are in the pattern. So once I find that break, I just simply divide the hair into half as slowly as I can. I want to eliminate too much frizz. So now after I break the section apart, this is about the spiral size that I like to use when I'm crocheting my style. So now I'm just going to fix this hair up just a little bit, and I'm going to divide it in half once again. So you're just going to find a natural break in the curl pattern. And then you're just going to pull it apart. So now once I've divided my curled section into parts, what I like to do is take one of my clips and just secure the hair that I've already prepared. So now you're just going to continue on by grabbing another spiral or curly piece of hair. You're going to find that natural break in it, which is about there. So you're just gently pressing the curls until they separate. And then you're just going to pull it apart. And then you're going to divide this hair one more time in half, finding that natural curl break that separates. Pull it apart. And then you're going to connect it onto your other bundle of section hair here. So by breaking this hair up into parts, you get the fullness that you need without necessarily adding one huge piece of curl. So by prepping your hair, what I like to do is grab about 3 long strands, like what I have here in the color number 33, and then I cut it in half and prep that amount of hair. The reason why you do not want to prep all of your extension hair at once is because most times you don't actually use all of the extension hair. So by prepping small sections at a time, it ensures that you have enough hair for your style. So after I finish prepping this hair, next I will show you how to install it onto your braids. So now that I've showed you how to prep your hair extensions, I will now show you 2 ways of how you can install your crochet hair for your latch hook crochet style. So we first will start by using a hair beater. A hair beater is perfect for doing your entire head because the plastic of the beater is extremely flexible for those sensitive areas. So especially when you get along close by your hairline, the plastic beater works perfect because it can maneuver under very delicate hairs, versus using a metal crochet hook, which doesn't give much flexibility. But both offer their own pros and cons, even though I mainly prefer to use a plastic hair beater. So right now I will grab a little piece of hair, and I will also grab the plastic hair beater to show you how to put your hair onto your braids. So here's the plastic beater here, and I'm just going to take the clip off of one of my sections of hair, and I'm going to grab one of my ringlets here. So I'm going to put that piece on, grab my hook, and just hook the hair out of the way here, just to keep it separate. Now I'm going to grab my beater and my ringlet of hair here. So now what you want to do is take your extension and just wrap it around your other hand. So whatever your dominant hand is, this is the hand that you're going to hold your beater with or your crochet needle. So just wrap the hair around your other hand on your index finger just to hold it secure in place. So now what I do is I take my beater and I pinch the wings of the beater just a little bit so it's even easier to slide onto my hair. And I love using this plastic beater, especially when I'm close to my hairline. So what I do is I take the beater, I slide it as close here to my hairline, but also making sure I remain on the braid. So I'm gonna slide it in about there. And I'm gonna make sure the end of the beater lifts back out of the hair here. So I push it all the way through to make sure the eye of the actual beater is out of the hair. So now you just want to take the hair that's wrapped around your finger and just pull it out a little bit to expose the end. So what I like to do is just twirl the very end a little bit to make sure I can easily slide the hair through the actual eye of the beater. So I'm just going to grab the wings of the beater and push my hair through, just like that. So I'm not going to pull one of the actual ringlets out. I want to make sure that it has this fold here. So now I'm just going to hold both of the ends, the bottom end and the front end, with my hand. I'm going to take my other hand and just slide it back through the braid. Very easy and simple. So now you want to make sure that you have your hair with your opening here, and then you have your 2 strands on the other end. Now if you would like it to be perfectly in length at the bottom, what you can do is create your knot now, and right now you can imagine how long the hair would be. So naturally, when it's just left hanging, it covers about the top of my nose or the bottom of my nose. But if you wanted to add more length, you could separate the 2 ringlets and just pull one down further a little bit, making sure the hair doesn't slide out of the braid. And then you can have a new length all the way down as far as you want. But I'll make sure to keep both of the bottoms even. So I'm going to even it back up here. And now I'm going to form my knot for my crochet hair. So what you do is you use your 2 fingers and your thumb helping you as well to open the hair right here. Now I'm just going to grab the hair that's on the outer side and feed it through that opening. So once I've done that, I'm going to just twist the hair, feed the hair through the opening again, pull through, twist this in, feed the hair through the opening, and pull through. You want to do this about 4 or 5 times to make sure you got a very sturdy knot when you finish. So here is my 5th time. Put the hair through that opening. And now to finish off, you're simply going to pull all the way up. And what I like to do is take my fingers and slide the knot down even closer to my hair. And then I separate the 2 ringlets and expand it and push it even further on the knot. And there's your first hairband installed onto your braid. So now I'm going to show you how to add your extensions onto your braids by using a latch hook. So now I'm going to go to my table and I'm first going to grab a small ringlet of hair. If you have a very small latch hook, you have to grab a very small amount of hair to make sure you can get all the hair on at once. So I'm just going to break one of the ringlets up a little bit. And I'm going to move this hair to the side. Actually, I'm just going to grab a different ringlet here. I'm going to pinch that off. I'm going to use that amount here. Then I'm going to move this to the side. Then I'm going to wrap this hair around my finger. And I have to put this latch hook through my braid. Now when you put the latch hook through your braid, you want to make sure that the actual latch part of your latch hook is actually open. So this is how it looks closed. And this is how it looks open. You want to make sure this latch is flat and the hook is open, and then you're going to slide it underneath your braid. So now I'm going to go up to my scalp, and the latch is open. I'm going to slide right here snug under my braid. And once you go under your braid, make sure the latch is still open and that you know exactly where it is so you can flip it up. Now you're going to take your strand of hair, and I like to use my thumb and my index finger to open it. You're going to hook it onto that latch. Then you're going to actually close the latch here. So you got to close it over to finish closing on the hook. Once you finally close the hook down, then you can pull it through your braid, open the hook, take the latch off, and now you have your ringlet of hair through your braid. And we're going to do the same process to knot. We're going to open up one side, put the hair through, turn, put the hair through, turn our opening, put the hair through. You want to do this about 4 or 5 times. Then you're going to pull all the way and move your knot all the way down to your braid. And I like to separate the ringlet just to make it tighter on the braid. And then you release. So now one more time, I'm going to show you how to use your latch hook to put your extensions onto your braids. So now we're going to go back to our hair and we're going to grab a very small ringlet of hair. Very small. If you have a bigger actual latch hook, you can use more hair, but mine is pretty small, so I have to use a small amount of hair. So now I'm just going to wrap that around my finger. I'm going to make sure my latch hook is open. So I'm going to make sure the latch is open off of the hook. Then I'm going to go up to my braid. I'm going to insert it in right directly underneath my braid. The latch is still open so that the hook is exposed. I'm going to wrap the hair around the hook. I'm going to find the latch and I'm going to close the latch on it. Then I'm going to slide it through my braid. And then now I can take the latch off of the hook. Let's try that one more time because you want to make sure all of your hair is on there. So now all the hair is wrapped around my finger and my latch is open. My hook is there ready to hook some hair. Gonna put that underneath my braid. Make sure the latch is still down. Wrap all of the hair around the hook. Close the latch over. Pull through. Then I can take the latch off of the hook and do the same process. Using the latch hook can be easy for some, and that is how I learned how to do this style. But I always now prefer the beader because it's a lot more flexible and easier for me to do my hair. So it's up to you how you want to use your tools. So now you're just going to pull your knot all the way down to your braid. Separate the two pieces just to tighten it even more. And now you're finished. So now that I've shown you how to put your extensions on your braids, I will continue to do the same process, but I like to prefer to use the plastic hair beater. So I will continue to use the hair beater to add extensions onto my hair. So now that I showed you 2 ways of how to put your extensions onto your braids, I went ahead and crocheted my hair about halfway on my head. I have the entire back half of my head done with the hair already installed. I have not cut the hair or did anything. I just put the pieces in and left them as is. So the reason why I got two different shades of brown was because I wanted kind of a highlight effect towards the front of my face. So in the back, I have one full pack of 1 bead. So the entire black package that I have installed in my hair. And remember, I cut the pack in half, so I had half the length of what I originally started with. So I cut the hair first and then I installed it onto my head. And for the front, I'm going to have a mix between the color number 33 and the color number 6. So if you want very subtle brown tones, I suggest that you stay in that range. But if you want your hair to be really dark and one solid color, then choose only one color. So the lighter you go with your extensions, it's best to go with a little low light, such as a lighter brown color if you choose to have like a dark blonde color. So what I'm doing is the same process throughout my head by using my beader to install my extensions onto my braid. And this was the first area where I showed you how to put them on, and I just filled in a little bit to make sure to fill in the gaps. So to know that you have enough hair installed on your braids is that when you smooth your hair down, you shouldn't see your braids through your actual knots. So I'm going to flip it over on the other side and the same thing applies. You see a little bit of hair from my scalp, but you don't see the braid exposed. So to make sure that you're not adding too much hair to the front of your head, you want to make sure that you work with small pieces of ringlets at a time. So as you separate the hair out, try not to put one entire huge ringlet on. Just break it up into smaller portions when you're really concentrating on the front of your head, because that's the area where you don't want it to look too dense, but you want it to look full. So now what I will do is show you how my hair is still prepared. I have my color number 33 here, and I just have a duckbill clip to hold around the hair. And then I also have my other color in the color number 6 as well. My natural hair color is a color number 1, and sometimes it's shades of 1B as well. But since all of my hair is braided, you could have as much fun with color as you want. Whatever colors you want to use, even if you want your whole entire head to be red, you can buy red extensions and put them onto your braids because your real hair won't show. So you won't have an issue blending your real hair with your extensions. So I just keep the duckbill clips on to keep the hair separate. And I just like to take some of the pieces of the brown and put them on, and then I go back to my other color, which is my 33, and put that on as well. You could even just break apart your colors you want to use for a highlight type mix, and you could just mix them into each other after you've separated the ringlets. So it's just your preference. I just like to keep it separate. So now as I go along, when I am putting on my extensions, I like to start from the back of the braid and work my way up. Sometimes I start very close to the front of my head because sometimes, the rare times, I may start to get a little bit sparse with my hair. And I would rather have sparse extensions installed here in the middle of my head or in the back of my head than in the front. So however you feel comfortable, just make sure that the very front of your hair is really filled up as close to the braid as possible. So now I'm just gonna install a couple of more extensions, and I'm just gonna take some of my brown here, and I'm gonna take my clip off and grab one of the ringlets. The closer you are to the beginning of your braid, the smaller your ringlets should be because it looks a lot more realistic. So when you break your extensions up and you notice that some ringlets are a lot more bigger, then put those back towards your hair because the finer they are up front, it looks very beautiful. So now I'm just gonna hold the hair around my finger, and I'm gonna take my small plastic hair beader. I'm gonna slide that at the very beginning of my braid here. Then I'm gonna twist it just a little bit because I just need to be able to slide it through the eye of the beader. And I just slide it through. And once I slide it through, I just secure both of the ends here so this part doesn't get lost. Just put that loosely in my hand so I can slide the hair back through on the other side. Sometimes you may get some stray hairs caught on your beader, but that's fine. You could just pull that apart, and then you can open up your hair and do your same turn and loop process, which I do about 4 or 5 times. Also, when you are pulling on the end of the extension to tighten it here at the root, if you feel any tension, just use your fingers and slide the knot down and pull at the same time, because you don't want to pull to where it's uncomfortable and actually pull some of your hair out. So just be careful. It's not that hard to do. You just want to make sure that you have a secure knot as close to your braid as possible. And even if you don't like to pull the ends to make the knot go down to your root, just separate the 2 ringlets and tighten it that way. It does the same effect. So I'm just going to push it over to the side, and I'm just going to continue to work my way back. So for the front, I will just probably do about 3 to 4 inches of hair in the front here, just to make sure that I have enough hair filled in around my hairline. And then I'll just fill in the rest. I always have hair left over, but it's just best to make sure that you cover those very important areas of your style, which is mainly the very front of your head. And I'm just gonna take another ringlet and put that on my braid as well. So as you know, I really love using this plastic beader because it's extremely flexible and it puts no tension on my hairline. And I know a lot of people have issues with styles because they have very sensitive or frail edges. And this is a perfect style to do because it's literally no stress on your hair. And even when you're using a plastic beader, it makes doing your hair a whole lot easier. So those are just some tips when you are doing your style. You want to make sure that you're pain-free and you're comfortable, and to use a style that you prefer to use. Make sure you use a tool that works best for your style as well. In this step, I show you in detail how to add your hair extensions onto your cornrow braids. By adding your hair extensions, there are multiple ways that you can put them onto your hair. I showed you 2 methods. The first method was by using a plastic hair beater to add extensions onto your braids, and the second method was by using a metal crochet needle to do so. Whichever method works best for you, use either tool to help you achieve your style. So now that your hair has been installed, in the next step, step number 4, I will show you how to trim and cut your latch hook crochet style.